Hey there, friends. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotion for all the saints. Hope you're doing well this Wednesday. I'm going to start us with a quick reading from Sarah Arthur's Coffee with God. This one is about loneliness. I think about Jonah in the belly of the fish. Jonah, who experienced the crushing isolation that comes from the rebellion against God's will. First, he ran in the direction opposite to the one God intended and experienced the isolation of being cast out of the community of the ship's crew. Then he found himself in the belly of a fish, in the heart of the sea, the world of the dead, like an astronaut cut off even from the air other people are breathing. Still later, he became annoyed with God for being compassionate with the people of Nineveh, and he went off by himself to sulk. And then even the leafy plant he sat under abandoned him after a while. As I think about Jonah, it occurs to me there are different kinds of isolation. Technically, I'm very isolated at this moment, all alone in an air-conditioned bungalow while my husband is at work. But that's a deliberate isolation. The writing life requires acres of silence, which for Christians can be a holy solitude. God called me into the writing life. That wasn't my idea. So mine is not a Jonah kind of loneliness. It's not generated by my stubborn determination to do the opposite of what God desires for me. I know because I've felt that kind of loneliness before. When I was a hyper-busy full-time youth worker, surrounded by people all the time, I might have perished from crushing isolation if I hadn't answered God's call to a different vocation instead. Rebellion cuts us off from God, who is our only true companion. So it doesn't matter what we're doing or how many people we're with. We're utterly alone whenever we stand outside of God's will. You know, saints, loneliness is a big topic these days, isn't it? We talk about a loneliness epidemic, actually, about what a lot of people are feeling as far as just not having the sort of meaningful relationships with the people around them that they wish they had. And it's a kind of a counterintuitive thing that's happening because right now we have so many technologies that are able to put us in communication and contact with each other. We've got phones, we've got video chat, we've got email, we've got texting, we've got all kinds of ways that we can connect with other people across social media, the internet. And yet people continually say, I don't feel like I have close friends. I don't feel like there are people who I'm really connected to who really matter to my life and I matter to their life. I don't know if you've experienced that yourself, but I think it's an understandable frustration that in the midst of the modern day and all the technology that we have, we are still losing touch with each other somehow. In a way that gets at one of the kinds of loneliness Sarah is describing, that we can be surrounded by people. We can have a whole bunch of acquaintances and friends. We can even be in a church service, sitting in a packed crowd, and feel disconnected. Feel like we are not really in sync or not really communicating with the people around us. And that's troubling. The other kind of loneliness that she points our attention to is a kind of a separation or isolation from God that happens when we basically stop following God's will, when we ignore what God wants for us. We end up cutting ourselves off from Him. And we become pretty lonely in that sense too. I wonder if maybe there's a connection between these two ideas. Maybe there's something to the reality that when we distance ourselves from God, we distance ourselves from other people. Or when we stop caring about the people around us, when we stop making an effort to know and to love and to connect with the people around us, then we are losing something of our God-given purpose. We are losing some level of obedience to what God has called us to be and to do. What do you think? Why is it that we feel so lonely? And what might we need to do differently in order to better connect? That's your devotion for this week. Hope it's helpful and worth thinking about. Hope you are doing well and staying healthy. I'll be praying for you, saints. Please keep praying for me, and I'll see y'all again soon. Take care.